The town that forgot Halloween. The sign at the edge of town read, "Welcome to Lucent, a safe place to live." Petunias bloomed beneath it, and the October sky was disarmingly clear. 10 years ago, Naveen had passed through Lucent on Halloween night. Streets alive with costumes, laughter, and the smell of caramel apples. A girl in cat ears had told him, "Come back next year." Now returning for no reason he could quite name, he found Lucent neat, peaceful, and missing something. No pumpkins, no decorations, no mention of Halloween at all. When Naveen asked the barista at the Kind Cup, she frowned. "Halloween?" she said, puzzled. "I don't know what that is." He checked the library next. The librarian, Mr. Howe, helped him search old records. No trace of Halloween existed, no photos, no festivals, nothing. Then Naveen found a small, faded photograph on the notice board. 3 children in homemade costumes smiling from a porch. On the back, written in pencil, "Lucent, 2015, last one." Mr. Howe watched him quietly. "Sometimes," he said, "the things we forget remember us." And then after a pause, "We did it on purpose." "What happens on October 31st?" Naveen asked. "Community Serenity Night," Mari recited. "We sing, we light lanterns, we write down our worries and float them in the creek. We turn off the news. We tuck in our children. They have the nicest dreams. No monsters, no teeth." "You've had no crime, no accidents, no grief?" Naveen asked. "Of course we do," the police chief said, "but softer, quieter. People don't go looking for the edges. We live in the middle. It's safer there." The door behind the desk led to a small room with a table and 2 chairs, and the kind of fluorescent light that makes truths look unflattering. Mr. Howe set the photograph between them like a center candle. "I was here the night it happened," he said. "Lucent had always been ordinary. Halloween was ordinary too. We told the kind of ghost stories that blush when the light comes on. Kids spilled candy on sidewalks. We were good at small fear. It kept the big fears in proportion." He interlaced his fingers. "Then one October we had a year of too many real things. A fire that took a young mother and her baby, an accident on Route 7, 3 teenagers, a missing boy for 9 days. He turned up on the 10th, alive but not in the way you hope for. A man with a gun in the parking lot of the Food Pride who changed his mind because Mrs. Geller's dog jumped into his lap." Mr. Howe took a breath like stepping down a ladder. "We were tired of fear. We held a council. We invited everyone. The pastor, the science teacher, the mayor, the man who runs the bait shop. People cried. People shouted. And then the mayor said, 'What if we don't do it anymore?' He didn't mean the bad things, of course, but he meant the performance, the practice. He meant Halloween. It's when Oliver stepped up." That night, Mr. Howe brought Naveen to the Serene Council, the mayor, the baker, the police chief, and a few townsfolk. When Naveen asked why they'd erased Halloween, the mayor answered softly, "After a year of too many tragedies, we were tired of fear. We wanted peace. So we made a bargain. We gave fear a shape and a room." They took him downstairs to a single metal door marked "Quiet." Inside sat a boy, small, calm, with dark hair and eyes like unlit candles. "I'm Oliver," he said. "They were scared of fear, so they fed it to me." When Naveen asked what he meant, the boy smiled faintly. "I'm Halloween. The part where you're scared, but safe, where you practice the dark so it doesn't own you." Upstairs, the council argued whether to release him. "If we let him out," one girl asked, "what if people start being stupid again? Guns, pranks, nightmares." "Fear's not evil," Naveen said. "It's a muscle. If you never use it, it fails you when you need it most." He placed the old photograph on the table. "Your kids don't need to be fearless," he said. "They need to remember what courage feels like." "Let me tell you a story," he said, and made his voice the kind that gathers people. "I was here 10 years ago. A girl in a black cat costume gave me a caramel apple. She said, 'Come back next year. We do it right here.' It wasn't perfect. There were tears. There was a kid who tripped. There was a man in a zombie mask that was too convincing. But everyone learned the choreography: how to knock, how to say please, how to say thank you, how to be brave when you're pretending. It was practice. That's what Halloween is: training wheels for fear. The teens looked at the photograph and saw themselves in children who had practiced them into existence. "And what about Oliver?" the mayor asked, her voice a folding chair. "I think he's tired," Naveen said. "I think he's a boy who volunteered to hold the ocean for a town. I think maybe it's time we all take a cup." The council did not vote that night. They adjourned as councils do, with motions and seconding and the soft thud of gavel like a heart at rest. Naveen walked back to the library. Mr. Howe turned off the overheads and left the table lamp on. Light pooled. They sat in it like campers. "You think they'll open the door?" Mr. Howe said, not a question. "On October 31st, Naveen said, "for an hour, see what happens. And if it goes badly, then you've learned you need practice," Naveen said, "and rules." Mr. Howe smiled, small and private. "Will you stay?" "Yeah," Naveen said. "I want to take a photograph." They didn't call it Halloween. The word hadn't learned its way back yet. The banner over Main Street read "Open Night" in letters shaped like courageous balloons. Parents held hands with their children. The police chief stood with his hat under his arm, looking like a man who had slept less and felt more. The baker handed out lemon squares wrapped in wax paper, which is technically not candy but counts anyway if you're thoughtful about it. Lanterns glowed down Main Street. The mayor gave a trembling speech. Mr. Howe turned the key. Oliver stepped out into the night, the boy who was Halloween. He took a lemon square, smiled at a child in a bedsheet ghost costume, and laughed when someone screamed and clapped afterward. For the first time in a decade, Lucent remembered what it meant to be alive and afraid. When it ended, Oliver returned to his small room, lighter than before. Naveen took his photograph. Oliver looking up, the town looking back, a street learning to breathe in weather. In the frame you could see the mayor's hand hovering under a child's elbow without quite touching it, a reflex and a promise. You could see Mr. Howe with his arms crossed the wrong way because he was thinking, and Mari giving a cup of cider to a cop and calling him sir only because she knew it made him awkward in a human way. As Naveen drove out of town, he passed the welcome sign again. Beneath the old words, someone had added in neat, bold marker, and a brave one too.